Hello and welcome to our movie recap channel. Today I'm going to explain the action sci-fi movie called Inception, from the year 2010. Hope you enjoy the video, so let's start. The movie is about a man named Cobb who steals information from people's dreams with a machine, developed officially by the military for training purposes. Cobb drugs his targets and puts them to sleep. He connects the machine with his targets and enters their dreams. He tricks people in their dreams and extracts their secrets or precious information for his benefit or on someone else's behalf. The movie opens with Cobb lying on the seashore. A security guard checks on him and brings him inside to an old man. The old man asks Cobb if he's here to kill him because he looks like a man he once knew. The movie shifts to the past where we see Cobb sitting in the same room with Saito, accompanied by Cobb's partner, Arthur. Saito is an immensely wealthy businessman and the head of his company, Proclus Global. Cobb mentions to Saito the importance of guarding your brain while dreaming because if left unguarded, anyone can steal his most valuable information from his dreams, but Saito says he's uninterested and leaves. Later, Cobb and Arthur go for a stroll while revising their mission. They notice a woman standing on the side and she is Cobb's dead wife Mal. In dreams, people from your memories are always alive, even if they are dead. Mal is part of Cobb's subconscious, that's why she can appear in Cobb's dreams. Arthur worries Mal might ruin their plan, but Cobb assures him he'll take care of Mal while Arthur worries about his role. Cobb approaches Mal and asks what she's doing here. He asks if she's here to ruin his mission, but she says she missed him and wanted to be with her. Cobb takes her to his room and tells her to sit on a chair while reminding her that she is dead and he needs to focus on his mission. Cobb climbs down the window and silently breaks into the lower floors. He was in this dream to extract some information. He opens a safe and finds an envelope in it which he replaces with a fake envelope. Suddenly Cobb's late wife Mal arrives with Saito and his security, holding Arthur hostage. Saito takes the envelope from Cobb, but Mal shoots Arthur in his leg. Cobb knows Arthur is in pain, but if he dies, he will wake up in the real world, so he shoots Arthur in the head while he takes the envelope and runs off. The apartment belonged to Saito while the dream was Arthur's, so everything in the dream started falling apart because Arthur woke up. Cobb tries to read the documents within the paper, but some of them are redacted. Saito dies in the dream and wakes up while Nash drowns Cobb in the water tub to wake him up. Saito pulls a gun on Arthur and attacks Nash, but Cobb jumps on Saito quickly and disarms him. Without wasting any time, Cobb forces Saito to reveal the redacted information, but Saito realizes this is also another dream. Saito figures out Cobb and his team put him in the second level of dream. This time, it was Nash's dream where we see bombs blasting outside while people violently protest. We see all of them, including Saito, on a train, in the actual world where they have another man to make sure they all stay asleep without any interference. As time runs out, their new partner wakes Nash up and the rest of them also wake up. They realize they have failed and Saito might wake up soon, so they all leave. Now, Cobb goes home and spins his totem. Everyone has a totem that has unique characteristics. These totems are objects that are used to test if a person is still dreaming or in the real world. Cobb usually spins his totem. If it stops spinning, it means he's in the real world, but if the totem doesn't stop, it means he's still in a dream. Later, Cobb heads to a helicopter with Arthur to leave but finds Saito inside the helicopter, holding Nash hostage. Saito's men take away Nash and fly away with Cobb and Arthur. Saito reveals that he was the one who hired Cobb to infiltrate his dreams because he wanted to test Cobb's skills. Saito reveals that Cobb is the only person who can do a task for him. Saito reveals that his business opponent, Maurice Fisher, is on his deathbed, but he has a son, Robert Fisher. Saito says that their business is booming and it might take over his business too. So he tasks Cobb to infiltrate Robert's dream and implant an idea that he should dissolve his father's company. This way, Robert's company will go out of business and Saito's company will thrive properly. Saito offers Cobb to rid him of all the accusations and restrictions on him so he can enter America and meet his children if he works for him. Cobb gets a call from his children who still don't know their mother has passed away. Cobb's been separated from his children since Mal's death. Cobb's wife had committed suicide, but Cobb had been accused wrongfully with her murder. So ever since, Cobb has not met his children and he's running away from the American government. Cobb starts working on making a team, so he visits Professor Stephen Miles, who is Cobb's mentor and his father-in-law. Cobb opens up to Miles and reveals that his condition is getting worse, with Mal. She appears in his dreams frequently and starts destroying everything. Cobb mentions that he's looking for a new architect to design dreams. Professor Miles introduces Cobb to his most brilliant student, Ariadne. Cobb starts testing Ariadne. He takes her into dreams and teaches her about the physics of it all. He takes Ariadne to a cafe in her dream, which starts getting destroyed in slow motion when Ariadne realizes she is in a dream. Ariadne starts learning everything quite quickly because she knows architecture. She starts working in the dreams and constructs paths on her own, but Cobb stops her from constructing paths that already exist in the real world because that can confuse her from differentiating between the real world and the dream world. Mal is not alive, but she is present in Cobb's subconscious, so she often takes control of a dream if Cobb is there. Mal arrives again and stabs Ariadne, which wakes them up. They wake up and Arthur explains to Ariadne that 5 minutes in the real world is equivalent to 5 hours in the dream world. Later, Cobb searches for recruits. Then, Cobb recruits a man named Yusuf to give them sleeping drugs that can put them under for 10 hours and to look after them. He traverses to an old acquaintance, named Eames. Eames is a master manipulator because he can change himself into anyone in dreams. Now, Cobb and his team decide to go on 3 levels of dream, meaning dreaming within a dream which is also in a dream. This way they would have 1 week in the first level of dream, 6 months in the second level, and 10 years in the third level. They start testing and experimenting, and eventually, they complete their mission strategy. They all hear the news about the death of Maurice Fisher and his son, Robert, who's taking his dead body back home on a flight. Cobb and his team, along with Saito, also board the same flight and sit next to Robert. Cobb sneakily drugs Robert's drink and puts him into a deep sleep. They all open the machine and one by one, they all go to sleep along with Saito. Everyone on the flight, including the air hostess, is also working for Saito so they don't bother them. They enter the first level of the dream where they capture Robert, but his mind has been trained by military specialists, so Cobb and his team get attacked by armed men. Eventually, they defeat all of the armed men, but Saito gets shot. They all rush to a warehouse where Cobb gets scared because they didn't know Robert's mind was trained. Eames tries to execute Saito, but Cobb stops him, revealing they are under a heavy dose of drugs and that if they die, they might end up in limbo. The limbo is the last level of dreaming. There, 10 hours can turn into 100 years and the person's body in real life goes into a coma. They plan to plant the idea in Robert's head to dissolve his father's business so Saito's business can flourish. Eames turns into Peter Browning, Robert's godfather. He manipulates Robert into thinking that Robert should not step in his father's shoes but find something real for himself. Eames tells Robert that he needs to step out of his father's business and become a real man by starting from scratch. Afterward, they leave the warehouse in a van and Yusuf puts everyone to sleep again. They go to the second level of dream where Cobb approaches Robert and explains to him that he is here to protect his dreams. Cobb reveals that he's an expert and he suggests Robert should infiltrate his godfather, Browning's dreams to see what he thinks about Robert. Robert agrees, so Cobb takes him to a hotel where Cobb's team has captured Peter Browning, who is Saito in disguise. Robert finds out Browning is betraying Robert and his company, but why? They don't know, so Cobb suggests they should enter Browning's mind to know the truth. Arthur stays in the second level of the dream to look after them and plants a bomb in the room that will wake them. Cobb enters the third level of the dream with Saito, Eames, Robert, and Ariadne. They arrive at a snow fortress hospital where Cobb tells Robert he will find his father in a safe, and that's where you will find why Peter Browning is betraying him. Robert still doesn't suspect that Cobb and his team are playing and manipulating Robert and planting an idea deep in his mind. Robert reaches the safe, but Mal takes over again and shoots Robert to death. Cobb shoots Mal, but Robert has gone into limbo. Cobb and Ariadne enter the limbo as well to save Robert. They see the limbo and Ariadne gets terrified of the apocalyptic design of the limbo. Cobb reveals that he used to live here with his wife Mal. They spent 50 years in limbo, but Mal started believing it to be the real world and didn't want to wake up. After Cobb's hard attempts to convince Mal, they both commit suicide and wake up in the real world, but Mal isn't done. She still believed the real world was a dream and came up with various ways to end her life to wake up, but Cobb prevented it. On their anniversary, Mal invited Cobb to a hotel suite where he found Mal standing outside of the window to jump. She tells Cobb that they both have to jump together so they can die and wake up because she has sent a letter to her lawyer, stating that Cobb tried to kill her. Cobb stops her, but Mal jumps and dies, leaving Cobb with enormous guilt and the American government on his back. Now, back in the limbo, Cobb reveals Robert must be in his old house with Mal. They reach the house and find Robert captured by Mal. Cobb persuades Mal to let Robert go, but she wants Cobb to stay in the limbo with her. Cobb agrees, so Ariadne pushes Robert down from the window to wake him up and shoots Mal to save Cobb. Ariadne jumps from the window as well and wakes up with Robert on the third level, but Cobb was still in limbo, holding Mal in his arms, waiting for her to die. Meanwhile, Robert opens the safe and meets his dying father. He tells Robert that he never wanted his son to be like him and become something better. He advises Robert to dissolve his business and make his name from scratch. Robert agrees and Cobb's mission is completed. Eames blasts the hospital to wake them all up in the second level, and then they wake up in the first level. Eames turns into Browning again and tells Robert that this is why he betrayed and wanted to take over the company, because Robert's father didn't want his son to be part of his business. Robert says he realizes that he will make his path from the beginning. On the other hand, the team realizes Saito has died and also entered the limbo. Cobb finds out and searches for Saito in limbo because Saito is the only person who can give Cobb the life he wants. Cobb finds an old Saito, and it's the same scene from the beginning of the movie. Cobb convinces Saito that this isn't the real world and proves it by using his totem. Cobb and Saito commit suicide and wake up in the real world. They wake up on the plane with everyone. Saito realizes Cobb saved his life and instantly orders to put out all the charges on Cobb. Cobb reaches home and spins his totem, but Stephen Miles arrives with Cobb's children. Cobb finally reunites with his children while we see the totem still spinning, which looks like it's going to stop, but the movie ends, leaving us to speculate if it was still a dream or the real world. Hope you liked the story recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching and see you next time.